Hey y'all, how you been? Miss me? Well, I miss you guys. Hope you're all been coping with everything that's been going on. And to my viewers on the other side of the planet, I hope you've been coping as well. Well, we've certainly got some hot topics here in Oz, haven't we? I mean, you can't dispute that. There's so many hot topics that's been built around this contagion. And it's not only here in Oz, it's all over the world, isn't it? It's everywhere. You can't escape from it now. And it's getting harder for a lot of people because, see, New World Order and now what's taken place all over the world is your remodifying and remodifications of your freedoms, okay? And that's exactly what it is. The whole entire world now is with the New World Order and remodifying freedoms all over the world. And that's a big thing to cope with. I bet a lot of people never thought we'd get to this point in life, but unfortunately we have. And here in Oz, we've got a lot of hot topics that everybody seems to just, endless talk. There's not debates, there's arguments, and there's blame game, and if not, then, the truth's finally come out and all this sort of thing. But people, I think, are mentally and physically just getting tired of everything. That's what I believe. So my hot topic is today for you guys is here in Oz. I don't know about the other side of the world, but I hope everything works out with your vaccination rollout. But here in Oz, we've hit a few hurdles. And the main hurdle at the moment is it's double Dutch talking. Now, what I mean by that is double Dutch talking, okay? Now, Gladdy, the Premier, New South Wales Premier, right, and others have said that if you go ahead and get your vaccinated, if you go ahead and get vaccinated, okay, then you can still catch the contagion, give the contagion, and end up with the contagion. So can somebody in the government clear up to the Australian people what they mean by that? You go ahead, you get your vaccinations, that you might still get the contagion, and if you do, you might be able to give the contagion. And the thing is that with this, the government has said it will make your life normal. What will make our life normal about getting the vaccines? Because you're still able to get it, you're still able to give it, and you're still able to infect people. So really, it's double Dutch talking. And with everything that's going on now with this new Delta variant and other variants in society, it makes not only me, but I dare say other people would be wondering and worrying about how contagious this variant is. Because, okay, if you get the vaccine, does it mean that you won't die from it? Or you're less sick from it? See, that's what the government hasn't cleared up. You get the vaccine, okay, but you can still end up with it. You can still end up giving it to people, and you can end up still very sick. I mean, so what is it? I mean, is it that you won't die from the contagion, or you won't end up as sick with the contagion? You got to make it clear why it's very important for people to have that, because people say we'll have it, but we can still catch it. We can still give it. We can still get sick from it. So, I mean, what's important about this vaccine? That people have got to have it. That's what you've got to get across to the people in the Australian government. That's what you've got to get across to the Australian people. That's the key. That's the key. And you've got to make people understand that. Because at the moment, people are shaking their heads and wondering why they should. When, as I said, people now are being told they can still give it, catch it and fall sick from it. So what does the vaccine do? It makes you less sicker and stops you dying, or what? So Australian government, get on board with that, because otherwise you're going to have people's backs up and they won't want to have the vaccine. Because with everything that's going on, with the announcement, every day there's an announcement and people are getting sick of it, because with the announcements that the government makes and decides, people have got to remodify, and they are remodifying all the time, their freedoms, and people are tired of it. So what makes it different? You've got to come across to the Australian people, because people don't understand it. And now with the layback and setback of that, the recommendations that the AstraZeneca is only recommended for people from 60 plus. Now people feel like guinea pigs. Why? You've got to get that across to the Australian people, government, why they're not guinea pigs. What's the difference? Why have they made that decision? Not just announce that decision, but they've got to explain why they have made that decision, so ordinary Joes can understand it. But you haven't. And you keep remodifying and remodifying people's freedoms, as I said. So that's my little concern. Because I kind of figure I've sat back long enough and heard the, views on everybody, and there's so much on TV and the talkbacks, it's just mind-boggling, and you get sick of it. You can't escape it. And the whole world's in on it. Nobody can escape it. But the thing is, if we can't escape it, then, and we're living it day in, day out, and as people have said, this contagion is going nowhere, guys. Okay, so don't get fooled by that. It's not going anywhere. Okay, so the thing is that people now, if we're going to live with it, then we can be explained. It can be explained to people how important, why, not just snap decisions from the government, this is what's happening, that's what's happening, this is what you've got to do and all that, because people eventually will not toe the line. I mean, that's human nature. They will jack up. So, and there's only so much you can take. So you've got to be really, really on key points. On the points that you need to, government, for people to get on board with this, you've got to. So, and double Dutch talking it's just bullshit, to be quite honest. And people are now like panicking more than ever with what's been going on the news, especially what people have said in the government, saying to the Australian people, it's more deadlier and dangerous than ever. Now, you've got to explain that one too. Because why is it? Why is this variant so more important and more contagious than the other one, which was originally COVID-19, and we've got so many variants now, it's mind-boggling too. And also with the vaccines. You say you have enough, but then you say you got shortages. So God knows there. And also, do you have the boosters? Have you explained to people that they've got to have boosters every 6 to 8 months to keep this going? To have the antibodies constantly going in your body? Have you explained that one, government? And do you have enough of the vaccines to go around? Especially when you said you've got shortages. So God knows, Australian people, God knows. But that's one thing with the vaccines. You've got to explain to people, that you can get it, you can catch it, and you can fall sick with it. And you can pass it on to people. So why do people have to have the vaccine if all that can happen? That's one, most important. Government, get on board, because if you don't explain it properly to the Australian people, right, then nobody will. You'll find some people will, majority of the population won't, So, but anyway, you guys, that's just my little him-ha niggle that I thought I'd make a tube about, because as I said, I've sat back long enough, and I just thought I'd put my 2-bit bobbin worth in, and because I was mind-boggled when I heard that on the news, You get the vaccination, you get the vaccine, it'll change your life. In what way will it change our life? Okay, and on top of that, you can still catch it. You can still give it to people. I mean, like, what's so special about the vaccine? That's what you've got to explain to people. And at the moment, it hasn't been, so. But anyway, I'll leave it at that. Look, anybody experiencing psychological or physical abuse, please go networking. There's plenty of network supports out there. And I do hope that you do have somebody in your life that you can turn to and talk to, and that is supported, that supports you in time of need. And also with the police, I've actually been thinking on this also. I think the police slack, really slack. They say they're out there to help domestic violent victims, but I don't believe that. You're not trying hard enough. The police are not trying hard enough. They don't get down to the level the way they should. They're dictators. A lot of the police officers in the force, they say they understand, but you got no idea really what goes on. And that's pitiful, because a lot of people and a lot of women turn to police officers for protection and safety and support, and they don't have that, and I think that stinks. So there want to be some, kind of like a program going where the police where they've got special people that, form this team, and have team leaders that are of people that, and not people that have been recognised on YouTube and TV and got awards, but real people, real living people that could actually, put really good points across to society and to the police, and to be able to form a team to be able to help domestic violence victims, most important, to get the ball rolling quicker than what it is. They need support services, they need safe houses. At the moment, a lot of victims don't have that. And I said, and there are men too, okay? But majority are women and children and animals. So please, Australian police force, get this going. They need that. You need more compassion, because at the moment, I think the New South Wales police are not doing a good enough job. That's my opinion. But I thought I'd have that input, because that's most important, since I'm talking about domestic violence and psychological abuse. Anyway, so I'll leave it at that. Hope you enjoy my tubes, everybody. I do, and I will. Okay, I'll have a sip of tea. I love my tea. Lipton's. Though I do have Earl Grey. Oh, in between all my plants, I've got to put my cup of tea there. Stay there, cup of tea. I'm coming back. Anyway, before I forget, okay. Now look, we all know, it's most important at the moment. It's now rolling out that they're recommending, okay. They're recommending. It really means eventually mandatory, compulsory martial law that you be wearing these again. Okay, remember these? The masks. They're most important. Use them where you can. No, really, be wise, everybody. If you don't wear masks at the moment, you're a fool. Okay? So, There you go. But then again, the government's got to explain why. What's so important, as I said, that masks, everybody, and also hand sanitizer, okay? I use this anyway, whether there was a contagion or not, whatever, I just use hand sanitizer constantly because there's constant grots around and germs, ugh. You wouldn't believe what people do, but they do, yeah. Ugh. But anyway, so, and I don't like the thought of wearing these for the rest of my life, but I have them and I do pull them out when I need them, and it looks like now we need them. So be wise, wear them, mask up, sanitise where you need to. As I said, you know, winter's coming on, and winter's now, it's, with the weather, it's unpredictable weather, okay? And a lot of the winds carry a lot of the contagions, and a lot of people saying this is airborne. Well, perhaps it is. And if it is, then you really want to watch out on windy days. So do yourself a favour, you know, be aware of that, because with that, you know, you could end up with the flu, even though the flu rate is down at the moment. But once again, what does this contagion carry? Why are they so panicked about it? Why is it such a concern? So that's what the government has got to clear up, and why it is most important that people have this when they've explained you can end up with a contagion, you can end up being sick and also passing it on to people. So, you know, what's important about this vaccine, government, that you want everybody to come on board with. But anyway, my 4 codes, I'll say respect, dignity, honour and integrity. They'll serve you well and help, of course. But to everybody, until next time, look after yourself, and remember, don't stress out too much about this contagion. It'll be with us for a long, long time to come. See y'all. See y'all.